So right now I feel like running is my life. I mean, I'm just so passionate about it, and part of it is because I made that decision in 2015 to actually go like, what if I take this seriously? You know, what if I sincerely put my heart and all my effort into running and actually go for it? Can I compete? I still don't know if I can, but can I compete at the high level? Maybe. I don't know, but only one way to find out, right? So I went for it. Alright, so today I want to talk to you guys about how I got started with running. Because I actually did a fair bit of running as a child. And there are several influences that I think played a key role in why I've now decided to go all in when it comes to running. So let's talk about my childhood a little bit. Let's talk about what was, what sort of eventually precipitated my absolute obsession with running. So let's rewind all the way back first to when I was a little child. Well, my dad, he started running, I think, just prior to when I was born, or something like around that time. So in my life, he's always been a runner. And obviously, that is a huge factor. It's, looking at it now, I can see that it's probably the biggest factor in why I've become so obsessed about running. He's been running my whole life, so I look up to him, obviously, and that's what every child does, looks up to his father. And he was running, so for me, running was normal. Running was something that grown men did. I saw my dad go running with a friend of his, and with his brother as well. They went running regularly. So all the time I saw him going out for runs, and that obviously influenced me a lot. And not only did he go running, but he was also very interested in watching sports on the television. And he would like write down statistics and stuff. When he was watching the Olympics, they would be running, and he would write down the times and stuff like that. He was always watching skiing in the winter and running and other sports in the summer. Not so much football though. Mostly, running and skiing and ski jumping and all that stuff. So whenever the Olympics was on, it would be there on the television. People would be running track, running 400 meters, 100 meters, 3,000 meters. And I would see that, obviously, and that would influence me as well. And around, I'm not entirely sure, but when I was 5 years old or something like that, my dad started taking me along to his races. I mean, he wasn't racing competitively or anything like that. He was just enjoying, taking part in a big running event. And oftentimes he would bring me and my mom and my brother with him to the races. So we would sort of hang out and have a picnic or whatever, waiting for him to finish his race. And then, so we would be sort of part of the event. So I would regularly go to these running events and see all these people running. And eventually, even when I was quite young, 6, 7 years old, I guess, even younger possibly, I started actually participating in some races for children. Like he would bring me along to these, like, I don't know, I guess 2-kilometer runs, 3-kilometer races on a regular basis. So throughout my childhood, up to probably age 12, or actually older than that even, we would go to these sort of local running races for kids and just join in, so I would do that on a regular basis. Again, not competitively at all. That's not what I was doing. I was more into taekwondo, and I did do taekwondo competitively for a while. I was competitive. I won some championships as well, so that was quite a lot of fun. And so running was a part of my life throughout my childhood. And I remember outside our house, we were living in this little neighborhood, lots of different houses, and there was these little roads that we used to play on with my friends and everything. And there was a particular stretch of road that was very even, and there was this kind of line that started and ended because there was a different color of the pavement. So there would be like a starting line and a finishing line. It was probably about 60 meters, 70 meters, something like that. And I remember I would sprint that. Like I would go out and sprint a lot. And I loved the idea that my name was, my name is Mikkel Gisle Johnsen. And if you translate Mikkel to English, it's going to be Michael. And Johnson, well, that's going to be Johnson. So Michael Johnson. Wow. Michael Johnson, greatest 400-meter runner of all time, or one of the greatest anyway. I would really look up to Michael Johnson. I would see him on the television running 400 meter, and then immediately I would put on a gold chain like he had around his neck. I would head out and I would sprint that. I would go sprinting and stuff. So yeah, throughout my childhood, running was not only something I saw on the television, I saw my dad do it, I participated in running races myself, and I was playing in the streets. Another interesting thing to note about my childhood is that I would always be very interested in physiology and exercise physiology in particular, and medicine. Like, I wanted to be a doctor, and I remember like having a little office in my bedroom when I was a kid, and Mads would have to be the patient, so he would come into my office and he was my patient, and I would write out like prescriptions for him, and you know, playing doctor basically. And so I'd always be interested in physiology and health and how the body works. And I remember borrowing exercise physiology books at the library as a kid. So definitely I was always interested in that sort of realm, exercise, how the body works, health, that sort of thing. As I grew older, it started fading, obviously. I was focusing more on the taekwondo, and because I was a teenager, I wasn't really participating in these races with my dad anymore, and I was doing other things that teenagers do, you know, not really healthy activities, I guess. And so my running interest would sort of fade a little bit. I would still run from time to time, and as part of my taekwondo training, running was sometimes something I did. But again, it was not like when I was a child, when I was sort of eager about it. Then, as I got into my 20s, things got really out of hand in terms of health. I was just, you know, I was starting to study. I was studying in Australia, and well, this is when I also got into vegetarian eating and etc. I'm not going to go into those details. Basically, at one point, around the same time as I was going raw vegan, I found this book, Born to Run, right? Classic story, this is everyone's story basically nowadays. I found this book, Born to Run. I'll put a link in the description so you can go buy it if you want. It's an affiliate link, so we will get paid if you click the link. That inspired me. That book really inspired me. And at the same time, I was losing weight, right? Because I was going on this raw vegan diet, and I was shedding excess fat, and I was getting lighter, and that means it's easier to run, right? So suddenly I was like able to run more easily. That was inspiring. And because of Born to Run, I bought a pair of Vibram 5 Fingers, these barefoot shoes, right? And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I started running with those. That gave me a better running style, landing on my forefoot rather than my heel. And one of the big things for me in the past decade, let's say, before I started running, was that whenever I would head out for a run, I would get a headache afterwards. And this didn't happen anymore now that I was running on my forefoot, and I realized it's because of the impact. Like, landing on my heel, dun, 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 would be so much impact that I would actually get a headache after the run. Well, I guess that's part of the reason anyway. Now that I was running more softly, I wasn't shaking my brain as much, and I wouldn't get as much of a headache. So I was lighter, I was healthier, I had more energy by eating a high carbohydrate fruit diet. I was running in my Vibram 5 Fingers. I was kind of inspired, but still I wasn't able to sort of find a perfect environment. We were traveling around, and I didn't want to run on the pavement, and the Vibrams didn't offer enough cushioning for me to comfortably run on the pavement at that level of fitness anyway. And I couldn't find some nice trails, and so I ended up just on and off, sort of going for a run on a regular basis, kind of, but not more often than once a month or something like that. So still nothing of interest there really, until I guess around 2015, when I read Why We Run by Bernd Heinrich. I'll put a link in the description about that book. That book really inspired me though. And then I got a Garmin. I got a Garmin Forerunner 410, I believe, and I was sold. I mean, once I got that Garmin and I could start tracking my runs and put it on Strava and all that stuff, link to my Strava profile in the description, I was hooked. And after reading that book, I was like, I've obviously got a passion here, you know, for running. My whole life I've been somewhat intrigued by running. And I was like, what if I actually take it seriously though? What if I actually just put my heart into it and actually go for it, get started with running for real? And that's what I decided to do, and that's what I did. And since then, I've trained systematically, and that's when I really started loving running on a new level, and starting to actually make training plans and train systematically and regularly. And I guess this also coincided with me finding out about the Ultra brand. This is a brand of shoes that they're flat, they got zero drop, they got a wide toe box, so they're not as minimal as the 5-finger shoes, but then again they are quite minimal, but they have a certain amount of cushioning without altering your biomechanics so much as a normal shoe would. So that extra bit of cushioning allowed me now to run on the pavement a little bit more easily, and that again, that expanded my opportunities to run, because now I could run here, there, anywhere, as opposed to before where I felt like I was constricted a little bit and had to find a nice trail in order to be able to go for a run. So you can see how all these different factors, looking back at my childhood, my dad especially, but my influences during my childhood and my teenage years, they sort of all culminated in this, and it's very logical that it would happen at one point, that I would, because of other factors again, the raw vegan diet, the Born to Run book, the Why We Run book, the shoes, these other factors all of this culminated together in me deciding that, you know what, I'm gonna give this my all. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna start running for real, and that's what happened. And since then, since 2015, I have had a couple of setbacks. That's some topics for another video. I had some injuries. I had to take a rabies vaccine, got really sick, so I haven't been able to necessarily progress as fast as I would, or run as consistently as I wanted to, but that's okay. I'm still progressing a lot and learning every day, and yeah, that's what this channel is about, me sharing that journey with you guys, telling you all about my strengths and my weaknesses. That's a video I want to make soon as well, my strengths and my weaknesses as a runner. So very exciting. That's my story. You can see how running, it's funny, I look back at my life sometimes and I think, I haven't changed at all, have I? I mean, like, I'm still into health and nutrition and physiology and running, and I feel like those things were all like new things for me when I discovered the raw vegan diet, etc. But I realize now it wasn't new at all. I've always been interested in those things, going back to my childhood even. So it's funny how everything changed, but at the same time it's almost like nothing changes. We still remain the same type of person to a large degree anyway. So right now I feel like running is my life. I mean, I'm just so passionate about it, and part of it is because I made that decision in 2015 to actually go like, what if I take this seriously? What if I sincerely put my heart and all my effort into running and actually go for it? Can I compete? I still don't know if I can, but can I compete at the high level? Maybe, I don't know, but only one way to find out, right? So I went for it, and I'm grateful that my dad was running, I guess, throughout my life, and he still is today, because it was a huge inspiration. It was conditioning, brainwashing. He was brainwashing me to enjoy running. All right, that's all. Tell me in the comments what you think about this. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Maybe you have a similar story. I mentioned a lot of books and a few different shoes, like the 5 Fingers and the Ultras, in this video, and I will post links to all those different items down in the description. Those are affiliate links, which means if you click them and you buy something, we get a little bit of a commission for sending you there. The price remains the same for you, but it's a good way to support the Lone Trail project. But a quick disclaimer though, I did buy those products myself, like the watch, the Garmin, the shoes, everything. I bought it myself, and I'm just recommending it to you because I actually believe in those products. It's not like I've been paid to promote them or something like that. I have to put that in there. It's like a legal thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure enjoyed it. It's a beautiful November day here in Norway, and I have a rest day today. I had a really hard run yesterday, so today is just like a chill rest day. I get a lot of work done, make a video, edit a little bit, that sort of thing. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Stay up to date with all the videos coming out. Give it a like, give it a share if you like this video. And I look forward to talking to you in the next episode here on the Lone Trail. Have a good day.